Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Hello. Hello. Welcome. This is Last Calls Podcast. First of 2025. And as I get started, I'm going to be getting started kind of slowly here. I do have my plate of food. I just got some wings in. Kind of wanted, I didn't get that to stop so much after work. So, I had to hopefully combine the dinner and after hours snack here and get that going. I don't want to be starving while I do this at the same time. Keep a little casual and all that stuff going. And got some stuff to do today, man. So glad you're here. Put me on in the background, whatever you're doing. And let's sort of get into this. There's a lot of things that went down. This is my first, broadcast of the new year here. So again, Happy New Year to people out there. I hope you're starting off a good, strong year. So let's focus a couple in-house things as we start sinking our teeth into this and get started, right? Here we go.
Meanwhile, back at the show.
So yes, this is the podcast. I put out a few videos. I might go back and do a little catch up on a few things that we discussed. It may be slightly over a week because I know I was playing around certain dates and stuff. And, it was the holidays. Last 2 weeks, you had the New Year and then you had Christmas before that as well. Drop this. You remember that? I'm not going to play too much of that because this is they copyright my stuff. Today might be the day of a whole bunch of copyright stuff because I'm going to be using some videos. I'm going to be using some sources of some people that I know, some people that I don't know, just in order to get some stories across, man. There's some crazy things that happened this week, but I want to start off on a lighter note. If it's your first time here checking out, just let me grab some drink. If it's your first time here checking things out, welcome. It is Last Call. It's my channel here. I'm relatively new to doing this, starting up slow and everything, and just kind of some social events and issues, maybe some music, things like that. Somewhat, I guess I could say, burst out of the sector and some good support that I had from some people before I jumped on and was finally encouraged to do this. I think it's been going pretty decent so far. I got a few episodes in the bank, and what I try to do, in case you don't know, is every week try to do a live and catch up on anything that any current events, any news topics, or anything really trending, during the week we could talk about during the live like we're going to. So we've done a few of those. Those are in the bank. Go check those out. If you're driving, got nothing to do, you want to hear somebody's nonsense in the background. I know a few things. And I can discuss a few things also. So if you want a different opinion on some of the items that go around, please, by any means, check me out. On top of the live, once a week, I also try to drop a video on something that's a little bit more specific in the news that has been bubbling. Normally, I don't jump on the gossip train or things to the mudslinging back and forth. It's just a little something, I don't want to do the low hanging fruit stuff, rumor mills and putting people down and all that. I normally like to do the commentary on things going on in the news, things in the community, or just communities in general, and sort of have somewhat of a, I'll say, educated, somewhat thoughtful perspective on it. At least I try, and try not to be too serious. I am a guy with a sense of humor too, you know. Hopefully that comes across. Maybe a little bit of a dry sense of humor, but there's one in there if you dig. So thank you for being here. Thank you for checking me out. If you're one of the subscribers, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for checking me out. Welcome. Hang around. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, this is amazing. The Critical Chronicles of YM. YM, what is up? It's amazing. I'm glad you're listening, because you know what? I might tap into your page today and maybe nab one of those videos about Lupe Fiasco. So maybe hang on to that if we have time, get in that later. That's one of the things I want to check out, Figured, why not? I'm not inventing the wheel on anything. So if you came in and you looked at my the thumbnail, right? If you looked at the thumbnail, you would notice something. Well, first of all, the title of this one is, can you believe, excuse me, can you believe I'm on number 17 already? It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it is. It kind of is, for somebody who, wasn't going to do this. And again, trying to be consistent. I tend to fall back on a Wednesday. Some of the other people I seem to follow do their things on the weekend. And I, personally, I like being in the chats or just listening to others while they do their thing too. So, this is all great. Doing this too, but I do like chilling and chilling out in the chat and stuff like that too. So whether you're new or old, checking me out, stay a while. Let's get into some things. Do me a favor, do the like, do the share, do the subscribe. All right. And I really appreciate that. So yes, number 17. And just a little playful thing. I decided to call it round 2. I like to do the digging in the crates. I did a few of them a few different ways. I wanted to keep track of some of the things that I'm doing in terms of digging in the crates. I also I'll put a short out maybe once a week or twice a week, or just some old school music or something I'm feeling. I got a wide range of music that I barely introduced to the channel yet. Because I mostly put just hip hop and maybe a little R&B in there and stuff. If you check that out in a few seconds, it's just kind of like a remember this. And I will be going off into other genres as time goes out. Obviously, there's a lot of music out there, just concentrate on one or two. But the one I was listening to, let me see if I could do this. One that I was listening to is the Stylistics. It seemed for some reason the last couple weeks come around pretty often. This particular Stylistics is their actually, you know what? Let's do a little background work. Let me shine a little light on the Stylistics right now. Some of you guys were probably made to the Stylistics. I think I probably was. the records that my dad had around the house, and it's good, man. Good to have some that older generation in the house that played some stuff that you could appreciate. And even when you get older, you really get into it and add it to your several playlists of things. So let's go into this. If you don't know, don't even act like you don't know the Stylistics, because I'm not talking about their first album. So again, if you saw my thumbnail, I used it. But it says the Stylistics round 2, basically talking about their second album. My thumbnail is Last Call round two, and I don't even know why it's round two, just because the year had passed. But there's really no correlation between the new year and putting my thing as round two. I think maybe a more rejuvenated podcast, perhaps. And this is my round two of coming back up and maybe part of a resolution to continue doing this crazy little thing over here. So that was that, to sort of pay a little homage to that. If you check out my thumbnail that says round two, it's not about any beef or getting back at anybody like that, man. It's just a little silly paying homage to something. All right. Of course, that is not the Stylistics. I should Shylights. Woo! Now I got to go back and listen to them. So the Stylistics, if I go back to this, you know, their hits like "You Make Me Feel Brand New," blah 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 blah. But the one that kept coming up, and this is the part that's probably gonna get cut out of my thing here. Let me turn down that track. I'll put that back up in the background as the thing goes by here. But the one that you know, should I go back? No, I'm not gonna go back to the first album. It'll take too much, and it's not really what we're concentrating on. But some of the ones I'm just gonna play for a couple little seconds so I don't get the strike and all that happening. But
step into Wood's studio.
Of course. Boom, boom, boom. All right. This is okay. Not really the one I wanted to share with you guys. It's good enough. I'm just going to get right to the one that I really like. You and Me is Too Late. But this one... What was the one? Wasn't it the Stylistics that had the one on Crooklyn? People Make the World Go Round. That was on one of them too. Great song. This one, I was a member on the Amazon one, and this one kept coming up. When all the world is safe within their dreams, I walk the shadow. I was looking, it may have been used for a movie. I don't know what the movie was. When I was looking it up, if you know the movie, please, by any means, tell me where it was used. But I kind of don't think so. I could see it being used for some sort of movie. And maybe because I'm a horror person, it sounds like it could be used for something sinister too. Someone who is just like me, looking for some company, children of the night. Yeah, that one came up, and I was rocking to this for a good repeat for a little while too. And this one also has another one that you might know. And this is one that really blew up. Breakups to Makeups, or Breakup to Makeup. I guess this would be one of the good breakup songs. Lenny Williams in this one. That was a debate on one of these channels the other. What went through good white breakup songs, but then what do black people listen to when it's time to break up, right? Or when they're going through it. We know the Lenny Williams "I Love You" one. Tell me what's wrong with you now. Tell me why I never seem to make you happy. Oh, heaven knows I try. All right. What was that? A minute? I'm not trying to get a strike over here. I could listen to this all day. I shouldn't even have started with this. Anyway, this is my digging in the crates for this week. Stylistics. Break up
to make up, that's all we do.
Stylistics. The album is Round 2. Just paying a little homage for my my thumbnail that I use for that too. Now, a lot of things going on as we got to get into a little more somber things and follow up on a few stories that we introduced too. One of the major things going on right now that we all know of course, is let's see if I could do this. The fires happening over there in California. And one of the recent developments, at one point I had a look right here. See, let me just double check if I'm okay. So I am on here. You see on the left side for the majority of the day, fire was really only burning. I say only burning, but it was burning over there in the Palisades. Right? I don't know if I could blow that up, but I guess I can't. But now we're seeing activity around Hearst and Eaton, which is very close to the Hollywood Hills sign, which around there is even more developed and more houses, of course. If that fire goes in there and it really starts out, man, that is big, big, big trouble. See there around Burbank, Los Angeles. These things in regular traffic aren't even really that far. We're talking like maybe hour if you're in Los Angeles, even less probably if you get a clear driving way. So if you ever been to Hollywood, you ever been to LA around where the sign is and stuff, this is all city down there. The real Hollywood, man. Going into Santa Monica down here, you would drive here. And on a good day on the I-10, I don't know, 30 to 40 minutes, maybe. But there aren't much days, of course, without traffic. And I don't know. I just really wanted to check that out and keep an eye on this thing. I do have people over there. I used to live over there, experience a few of those fires as well, the brush fires. And even as far away as they are, they seem kind of close. I remember it definitely keeps the smell in the air while you're over there. And there definitely is worry because there's a lot of stuff around there to keep those flames going. And I hope those guys do whatever they could do. And this is their time, in the Northeast, people, we got the cold and storms going up there. In the South, they got the hurricane seasons and stuff here. I think there's a little bit of I don't know what to call it, maybe a chip on the shoulder for the Hollywood. You figure like, they're rich people over there, but there's also a lot of very strong working class citizens over there who also get affected by this sort of stuff too. So, rich or poor, all human beings, and it's all relative to what degree, things do affect you. So this is kind of one of the things I'm keeping an eye on, and hoping it doesn't go too far. This is one of those things where people say, if you live where hurricanes are, if you live where these are, why do people live in these areas? But really, any corner of the country that you go to, you're going to have your case of emergencies spring up in there too, man. So what the hell can you do? I notice I'm not saying like pray for those people and stuff. I'm not necessarily religious like that, and I don't pretend to be, in terms of tragedy. But if you send your positive thoughts and energy is along that way, and you got anybody to call over there, please call them out. Now, I haven't been on here for a while, since a few events. I don't know about you, but does it really seem that people are getting a little more, what do you want to call it, audacious with the things that they do with, they want the attention on them to when the New Year's comes in, that's not enough. They plan to do something real drastic. Either to let out their rage, to inflict harm towards other. You know what? I am going to sneak a couple bites here. Hang on. I just want to have food close by. So if I don't eat, when I get a chance to eat, you know what it's like. I'm trying to eat a little bit more of a balanced meal with my old self these days. Yeah, what's up? People that are waiting, you know, to do crazy stuff. And of course I am. Let me just get right to it. See if I get the tab here. Hang on. Well, first of all, let me do this one. The two main ones that hit the news, even though there were others, of course, people shoot, bullets come down these times, but particularly two events that hit the news is the Tesla truck. Am I showing this here? Yeah, the Tesla truck in front of one of Trump's hotels here. And I'm more fascinated that this looks like some apocalyptic shit. Does it not? This looks like straight off a movie set, some damn near Mad Max. You got this car, ridiculous. I don't care what anybody says. The Cybertruck looks friggin' ridiculous, man. I don't have enough money to put down on a Cybertruck like that. I don't know even if I could that I would. I see them. There's a couple people I work with that pull up with them, and I just think it looks so damn ridiculous, man. Hang on, taking a bite. Perfect. Yeah, I think it's good. You know what I think with people? I think maybe they are affected by the advertising and whatnot, and it looks good, might make them feel good. But in reality, if you're working a regular 9 to 5 and you're pulling up with that in the office, you're working your IT job or your customer service job or whatever, and you're pulling up with that, it's a little out of place. I think it's a little out of place, you know? I mean, no, you can't make a little more round. When did we decide that the future was going to be edges like that? I don't know. I don't love them. Now, if they were flying cars, that might be a little more attractive. I'd be like, all right, this is what Back to the Future was telling us. Let me do a little bit of reading on this and see what the hell. This is CNN. CNN's one of my go-tos. I don't try to lean right or left, but if information is being presented, it's just being presented. All right. And this is the other thing. Starts out with active duty. Both dudes that did their crap. This and the New Orleans dude. One's a veteran, one's active duty. So active duty. What's going on? What's going on in the military, man? Is this something to worry about? I mean, we know from past wars, when we put a lot of people back into society and stuff, that they have issues assimilating again, and that should be looked at. The release of people who go and do and see these crazy things, and then they're dropped off into the regular population. Are we following up with vets enough? Are we paying attention enough to mental health and everything too? If things like this happen, and it's done in they're not just it's not an altercation with one other person. They want to take people out with them. If this kind of thing persists, I really wonder what the numbers are in those places. And of course, I'm not suggesting that anybody who does service or anything is like a nut job. Definitely not. I think they do great things. If you protect the country, even the city, if you're an officer of the law, and you do it your job by the law, you should be taken care of mental health wise, or if you went through traumatic experiences, to be released back into society as well, man. Come on. Let's not let this stuff happen. Anyway, U.S. Army Green Beret, who authorities say exploded a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas last week, used artificial intelligence to plan the blast. Oh, this was part of a... All right, so we know this happened. The report was basically that this Tesla in front Trump. So the location, of course, is you want to question that and everything too. But actually, the title that kind of struck me was this: Green Beret who exploded Cybertruck. It's a sucky title. Exploded. I guess it's better than saying blew up a Cybertruck in Las Vegas. Used AI to plan blasts. So when I was reading this, kind of a couple things. First of all, I'll let you know when I get to that. Say exploded Tesla Cybertruck. Use artificial intelligence to plan the blast. And we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence a little later, dealing with Lupe Fiasco. And hey, YM, if you want to jump in there and give me your take again on the article that you provided and spoke on a little bit, that's cool too. And if not, that's cool. I'll just be reading some of your information. So this person used AI, and this is another example. Who was the person that said there hasn't been a technology made that hasn't been eventually used for evil, right? And we're seeing that. We're seeing the exploitation of a lot of these things too. So Sheriff Kevin McCahill, or I messed up that whole name. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin said in a Tuesday news conference, the soldier, Matthew Livesberger, started using ChatGPT to get information on how to conduct his plot, calling it a game changer. So I don't know. Definitely we're reading more of this, but is this a case of you being so unoriginal that you're consulting ChatGPT for grandiose ideas? Or are you really, is it technology your thing that you're automatically going for this? But anyway, yeah, it sounds like a game changer. We knew that AI was going to change the game at some point or another in all of our lives, McCall said. Certainly, I think it's the first incident on U.S. soil that ChatGPT is utilized to help the individual build a particular device to learn information all across the country as they're moving forward. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Absolutely. It's a concerning moment for us, said the sheriff. I'm not going to bore you by reading the whole thing as usual. Just kind of want to scan to see what's up. Authorities did not say what answers ChatGPT gave Livesberger. Livesberger, I don't know how to say his freaking name, to his searches about explosives, firearms, and how to buy a cell phone without providing personal information. The ChatGPT sound a lot like the dark web. OpenAI, the developer of ChatGPT, told CNN the company is saddened by the incident and is committed to seeing AI tools used responsibly. Yeah, right. Our models are designed to refuse harmful. See, that was another. To refuse harmful instructions and minimize harmful content. In this case, ChatGPT responded with information already publicly available on the internet. All right, so doing this, that was a little bit of a thought of mine while you're doing this, right? Are you asking? Excuse me. Are you asking if whatever he did was detonated? I think, yeah. Judging by the pictures and some of the other effects. So this is. Now I'm wondering, are they going to put a safety device in there? Like they're going to have to contact the authorities for harmful language or things that could appear? Because if you're putting in this information on how to seek illegal means to do stuff, shouldn't these red flags start being sent to the authorities about what's going on? And now, what am I thinking? Am I thinking of like, am I sounding like too much of a conservative citizen in this point? Does it infringe on any rights if you are a person looking up this information and you're not able to get it? I see what you're saying. We're an alternative to where. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be a better word. What's up, CNN? You're slipping, man. You're slipping. Hold on, taking another couple bites. All right. So, even though the dude that did this kind of looks a little goofy, right? You hope what? It doesn't cause more government. That's what I'm saying, right? Now, this is they're going to start looking at what we're typing, what we're looking for. You know, they already have the Freedom of Information Act, so how much more are they going to step into their business? I'll tell you where they should be using it for these students that I'm talking to, these young kids. They don't even have to do their work. University students, high school students, this is it. You don't have to think at all. And the worst part about it is that their original pieces, you know, I'm putting up air quotes over here. Their original pieces of work that they could hand in and get grades like this. And there's nothing in these institutions to fight this. So maybe I shouldn't care so much on this on like a personal level for that, but I think the implications of that is like the dumbing down of society, right? You're getting certified in things, you're getting degrees and diplomas and things that you didn't necessarily do the work for. That's kind of, you know, concerning. What about a nurse who doesn't have her qualifications, doctors, you know, anybody whose lives depend on what they do, their expertise, and of course their competence. You know, right now a lot of our focus is just getting the certifications, doing whatever we have to do to get that whatever it is so that we could get to the job. You know, once we know that we're on the job, a lot of people think that they could fake it till they make it. This is just helping that process. Totally shouldn't. So that's the one thing with this chat. I can't even really believe it's out here in the public like that. Like, and I was going to go directly to kids, like how kids misuse it, but obviously here we're seeing how, and a little bit on the next one that we're going to be looking at, how dangerous it could be. And these aren't fluke answers. You're not asking, you know, when you used to send a question out on like a blog or something like that, and information used to come back. This is precise, damn near as expert as information as you could possibly get. And that's because it's pulling resources you don't have. So that's very, yeah. Universities have to step up their game in the assignments that they make. Yeah, they definitely do. You know what? Because they haven't even caught up. I know, because I used to do some work in education as well. And the district bought a program called, what the hell is it called? Called Turn It In. And this thing was supposed to catch any plagiarism that you may have used for your projects, right? What the kids, even the first week this thing was out, the kids figured out that if you put a quotation around the whole essay or the report or whatever the hell it is, and you change the font color so it can't be detected by, you know, the naked eye. If you put a quotation around it, Then the program, Turnitin itself, and many districts have one named by a different name. The program itself recognizes it as a quote and therefore cannot distinguish any smaller quotations from it. And because the whole thing is a quotation of many, like a few pages, it won't catch any plagiarism. So that's how those guys got away with doing that. And this is like, we spent all this money, we had meetings on how we're going to use it, blah, 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 or how the kids were going to use it. And that was within the first week, they found out how to beat it. And there that goes. And that should be known. Like, these kids are going to find a way around damn near everything and do it, you know. In one hand, I don't blame me, because as a student back in the day, used to try to find a way to, like, maybe cut corners here and there, but there was nothing quite like what's available for students now. And there's got to be something in alliance that when these things are dropped upon society, especially impressionable youth who they have the risk of exploiting these things and using them for selfish means, before this is dropped out so freely in society, you know, how to maybe curb it a little bit to a safer and more responsible use. And, you know, again, I'm saying this knowing that, you know, kids have cell phones in middle school and they're exposed to everything. I can't even believe what's on YouTube, actually. I feel like an old man admitting this right now, but I actually reported an ad that I saw on YouTube going through it because I was offended. This ad on YouTube, I don't even know if I want to explain it, had a girl. There was no nudity or anything. It was just very suggestive. Had a girl who looked very young. Can I say these things on here? Looked like she was pleasuring herself, let's say. And this was just out there, looked very young, advertising whatever the app was. And I was like, what am I getting? So I looked even more deeply into, because that's an option when you're reporting it. Why am I receiving this ad sort of deal? And the only rationale it gave was because of the time of day or time of night, it said, and location where I was. So America, and it's probably after 9 p.m. You're getting ads that are damn near X-rated in there. And I just feel like, I just think more about kids that are like, because I'm a little naive with this stuff too, especially with YouTube. Like, obviously I'm not an expert with anything here, but maybe because I'm more of a novice and I'm not a social media guy sort of deal. YouTube is still about information for me. So it's some entertainment, because there's a lot of dumb things I look up online too. But for the most part, I'm looking up YouTube, how to do something, to listen to somebody's podcast, you know, that sort of deal. Yeah. YM. I'm not even joking. I looked at it, and I know a lot of things kind of slip through the crack. It's like, I know some women used stuff like YouTube to promote their OnlyFans before they get like kicked out. So a lot of their things are kind of provocative in that way. But I'm telling you, it was enough. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. By any means, I'm not a prude or anything like this. But the couple things disturbed me that, you know, I could have been looking with my nephew, my niece, or something like that for something on YouTube at that time. One thing that disturbed me was they deliberately made it look like a very young girl. And then, of course, the act. Now, again, I'm saying there was no nudity or anything in there like that, but it was, if it would look exactly what it was looking like if it were nudity. Like, there's just no other way to think they were doing anything else other than what she was doing. And I was like, how does that just get on there? And while I'm even saying that too. There was an article that's been let out a couple days. Hang on. Excuse me. A couple days that Meta, people that own Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, so they're letting go of the board, mind my use of terminology here, but the safety guard to combat disinformation. So, you know, I think some of these rules started for the election so that any of these bots or anything created to disseminate bad information or misleading information, that there was something in line to sort of filter that. Now they're taking that away so that any sort of misinformation could be leaked on any Meta platform, which is even more dangerous because we know for the majority, people like the information that's spoon-fed to them rather than, you know, searching for anything of truth. And let me tell you, man, it's tough with AI going around and deep fakes and stuff like that. It's great for entertainment, but it is damn scary. You know, if evil minds want to, you know, go to work on anything like that too. So anyway, getting back to Mr. Cybertruck Attack, one of the main ones that was put up for New Year's. The main part of the article was not just that this deranged individual wanted to blow up his Cybertruck. He did that, and I don't know if you guys followed. He did end up, as many would say, deleting himself as he did so too, as he set the Cybertruck ablaze. Obviously, or I believe this person intended for a lot more damage to occur, but it just didn't happen that way. And you know, again, what is this thing with New Year's and going out with a bang, or thinking that now these stories don't even really matter as much because it's not going to have the importance that they think have the impact, you know, that they think is going to happen, and they're soon forgotten. Remember about 2 weeks ago, two of the things that happened, this Luigi, remember the CEO guy? His flame is dying out a little bit, right? And then there was the girl who did remember the Wisconsin school deletion? You know, these things are happening so often. The public is just being immune to any of this gun violence. Now, where it should be on the forefront and people should be arguing, you know, for reform and I'm not saying take away the Second Amendments, but obviously not getting into the hands of a 15-year-old to be in a position to delete a teacher and a student, you know, and the fact that it was a female this time, and these issues weren't discussed and explored a little bit more. You know, things aren't quite the norm of what we're used to seeing, and that should really concern, you know, the general public, not to a panic, but start looking into these things. But all the crazy things are happening so often. Are we just, you know, water off a duck's back? Hang on, just before I start with this one. So this one is a lot more devastating. And I am sorry to be eating, folks, but it's kind of dinner time. I have been eating a little later, and I was a little too busy to stuff my face earlier. I didn't want to have dinner just to be able to step on here. I'm going to try to promise for next time to maybe just have a couple snacks and not. I am eating some wings. Okay. This thing. So New Year's, New Orleans, Bourbon Street, tragedy would occur. And I want to get into this particular, if you haven't heard of this one, you've been living under a rock over here. But I just want to get into it in one of the updates that we've had with this. Yes, I know. I shouldn't be eating and doing this. I'm not a professional. All right. What can I tell you? So this guy, all right, this veteran decides on New Orleans to take his truck and go past the barricade and ram, I forgot how many people, a bunch of people. But at one point, it was reported that at least 15 people died from this attack. The person, last name Jabbar, he may have been a convert. We'll find out, or maybe something will suggest that a little later on. The perpetrator, or terrorist as we should call him, was deleted at the scene with some sort of a shootout with the authorities there. Again, there's just too much stuff about this. For whatever reason, I believe he had a manifesto there as well. Certain clues. It's believed that he had an ISIS flag, so one of these extremist sort of deal. All right. The hurting of innocent people that have nothing to do, like, if this is your mini version of 9/11, it's just pathetic. It's pathetic to do these things that you're not using your brain to be more productive. Everybody wants to just have this martyr type of story before going away, before getting locked up. You're not even going to be a blip. You're going to be nothing in history for this kind of. They're going to forget all about you. You're just going to leave family. There's no way in hell that you want this. It's a matter of, what do they say? You get 72 versions? Sure you do. Nobody's come back to prove that right. What do you get? What god do you appease doing some nonsense like this? Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, this is what this idiot did. And of course, devastating. And this was one of the first stories that we've had for the New Year. So let's get into a couple of what they're saying here. So the title, that I keep forgetting to go back to, is some of this guy's actions of what he actually did before this horrendous attack. Hang on. Scouting the city, setting a fire, and bringing in supplies. Here's how the NOLA suspect planned the attack. All right, so I hope this is one of the articles that I was looking into. All right. Nearly a week after Shamsud Jabbar, I'm just going to be calling him Jabbar, rammed a pickup truck into a busy crowd celebrating New Year's in New Orleans, killing 14. So this article says 14. Originally, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, reported as 15, but maybe that was an early projection. Who knows? Details how he planned the attack are becoming clear. As investigators piece together his movements and motivations, it appears Jabbar, whom officials have said acted alone, because remember, that was a thing. They strongly believed that he didn't act alone, and then they had to make the statement that he wasn't. And now they're saying right there he was radicalized, was preparing for the Bourbon Street attack for months. Sounds like the CEO guy who also went off the grid there for a while and stayed in the area for months. This guy, Jabbar, he visited the city multiple times in months prior. I think he was originally from Texas, but maybe that'll tell us there. He brought firearms and homemade explosive devices with him. He rented a home on Airbnb and attempted to burn it down in what officials believe was an attempt to hide criminal evidence. Here's what we know about Jabbar, how he planned his attack. He scouted the city months before the attack. Now, okay, he was radicalized, but for months, like, you didn't start questioning yourself. You know, people didn't see this. Jabbar visited New Orleans at least twice. First of all, it says he scouted the city for months before the attack. How do you scout the city when you just visit twice? In the months prior to the attack, in October and November, FBI New Orleans Special Agent in charge, Lionel Martel, said at a Sunday news conference, the attacker stayed at an Airbnb in New Orleans beginning October 30th for at least 2 days. During that trip to scout the scene, Jabbar used Meta smart glasses. More technology in here. According to FBI, the smart glasses can take photos, videos, and they use artificial intelligence, that seems to be the theme today, to answer user questions about their surroundings. Dude, this is not good for this stuff. If we're, of course, evil is using this sort of stuff. You know, just easier ways for extremists to do their thing. Who's going to bear the responsibility for this stuff? You know, Jabbar wore glasses to record video while bicycling through the French Quarter, adding he wore them again during the New Year's attack but didn't activate them. Jabbar also visited New Orleans November the 10th, but we're still piecing together the details of that trip. So his first trip was only 2 days, and he was strictly business. Rented Airbnb and set fire to it. He rented Airbnb, 1.5 miles away from the scene on Bourbon Street. He set fire to the rental about 15 minutes after midnight on New Year's Day, just before leaving to carry out the attack. So maybe that was even a diversion so that emergency crews wouldn't make it to that scene so fast. Officials were able to pinpoint the moment Jabbar set the house fire by using the home's thermostat. Okay. Throughout Jabbar's stay at the Airbnb, New Orleans had been experiencing cold winter temperatures, and the heat was running in the home. But at 12:17 on New Year's Day, Jackson said, the thermostat was converted over from heat to cool. Oh, okay. It changed roughly 2 minutes after he left. 2 minutes, that's pretty good. Because the thermostat indicated that the temperature was rising inside the residence and tried to keep up with the fire that was growing inside. That is pretty, as long as it takes my house to heat up and cool down, that's pretty damn impressive. Officials believe Jabbar was hoping to burn the entire house down, hiding evidence of his crimes. He used an open flame in the home's linen closet next to the washer and dryer, setting half a gallon of gasoline in the hallway, pouring an accelerant in different rooms throughout the house. Wow, that gets, damn thing could have just blown up, man. But the fire ran out of oxygen and fuel, smothering itself before it was able to pour the accelerant in the other rooms. All right, good stuff. Neighbors smelled smoke at 5:18. So a little bit of the timeline. If he left there right after midnight, and what already went down in New Orleans, these neighbors are just smelling smoke at 5:18. Jackson said and contacted 911. And they came in to put out the smoldering fire in the house. They found a type of silencer. So this is where they found all their stuff too, that this guy, but it doesn't matter because I don't think he intended on living anyway. He constructed IEDs. After Jabbar departed the Airbnb shortly after midnight, he placed 2 improvised explosives devices, or IEDs, in coolers on Bourbon Street. He placed in a rolling cooler and in a bucket cooler and left them on the street. Ultimately, neither of them detonated. There's one of them. So again, another guy that planned to do so much more damage. All of his plans did not happen. Let's move this down a little bit too. He brought supplies, including coolers, firearms, with him. All right. On December 31st, before entering Louisiana, Jabbar visited a gun store in Texas, then another business where he bought one of the ice chests he would use later to hide the IEDs he constructed. The neighbor of Jabbar, I should say, sorry. In Texas, he saw a man load a white truck in front of his home with light stuff on New Year's Eve morning. So from Texas, he drove there. It's a pretty, many hours? 15-ish hours, I think. And Jabbar said that he was moving to Louisiana to start a job. Store neighbor Momtaz Bashir, who lives with his wife and 5 children next door to Jabbar's residence in North Houston, told reporters, what are these Muslim names? Is that neighborhood or North Houston? Is that known to be a Muslim area at all? Or how diverse is that? I wonder if anybody could tell me. He told reporters he believes the truck had been there for one night. I asked him if he needs a hand moving, help out. As a neighbor, do you need any help moving things around? He said, I'm okay. Bashir said describing the items that he was loading was light and handheld. All right. Among the other items recovered, a .308 caliber semi-automatic rifle Jabbar bought through private legal sale owner November the 19th in Texas. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. My tired eyes are not making it here. Person who sold the rifle didn't know Jabbar or that he was planning the attack. Yeah, okay, I could believe that. Officials also recovered 9mm. Also located privately made silencers. So holy smokes, this guy, man. Reduced sound, yeah, of course. He rented a 6,000-pound truck. So the truck he rented wasn't his. The attacker rented electric Ford pickup in Houston. Private rental. All right, FBI estimated. Entered Louisiana New Year's Eve around 2:30 p.m. The rented vehicle was seen in Gonzales, Louisiana, about 55 miles northwest of New Orleans, around 9 p.m. Look at that. I guess that's after the crash. What a moron you are. All right. I'm not going to keep. Well, that's the end of it anyway. That is crazy. Within an hour, home camera footage showed him unloading the white truck outside the Airbnb in New Orleans. He had driven from Houston to New Orleans by himself and was the only person seen entering and leaving the Airbnb. Shortly after the clock struck midnight, making the first hours of 2025, Jabbar set fire to the house, drove to the French Quarter, and placed the coolers containing his homemade IEDs on the street. Around 3:15, he drove up Canal Street, took a sharp right onto Bourbon Street, and rammed the 6,000-pound truck into a crowd celebrating the New Year. 14 people were killed and dozens were injured. That truck is an electric truck is 6,000 pounds. I thought it would be lighter than that. Jeez. What, so that is that one, people. You know, haven't read of a manifesto or you know, it just seems like he was radicalized and got part of that ISIS regime type stuff, you know. A very, very stupid act of this individual, man. Oh, you know what I didn't do? And those were some of the events starting this year. And we read of stuff, you know, people shooting in the air and doing all this kind of stuff for New Year's to celebrate. I don't know why it has to be something like that. But I don't know. Are things getting worse? Or are they getting more extreme? I could say. It seems like it might be. You know, they could choose any other day. Why are they choosing New Year's? Obviously, I don't think it draws more attention on them personally to do stuff like that. It's obvious that with more crowds, you would get more of an impact with what you're doing. But, you know, any other event, you would actually get that amount too. And I don't know, what a waste. I just look at things like this and figure just what a damn waste for you to do something like that and hurt these people. I am glad that they declared it terrorism right away. They didn't stutter or hesitate on that, because that's exactly what it was. But then again, I'm wondering with the proof of it being an ISIS affiliation, or at least that's what he wanted us to believe. That's why they were quick to judge it as terrorism as well. Either way, that is what they decided to do, and they did that. All right. Oh, man, I want to get away from that, for crying out loud, right now. Little break.
Meanwhile, back at the show.
All right. So there was something I was thinking of while I was doing this, or thinking about what I was going to do for the show here, right? And you know what, that last little segment, let me get that off the screen over here. Put you back on this one. Oh, there he is again. I want to call up a page for you guys. It's a friend of mine. The Critical Chronicles of YM. Now there's a crazy little secret in here that this person might share the identity of somebody. I'm just joking. I'm not even going to go into all that. But this is YM. All right. I was hesitant about saying her whole name here, but it's right. It's right there. Yolanda Martinez. All right. That's what the YM stands for. And she is very talented, as I was going through all of these pages of the things that she does on here. But I was lucky enough because she sent me or included me in an article that she sent out that, boom, here it is right here, where I guess she was highlighting another video that now it looks like I might not even get access to. But let's see what it is. This article, and by the way, go ahead and subscribe to this person. Give her some love, all right? She comes here, supports me, little old me, with little old subscribers. So, you know, return the favor, please. And I was made aware of this article about Lupe Fiasco. And before I even go to it, actually, let me do my trying to go to it and talk at the same time, which normally doesn't really work too well. All right, so I was lucky enough to get the shout out over here, And I'm just going to go to the other page that says members only, but I think I remember checking this out, and maybe that was before members only. So that kind of sucks. I don't think I'm going to be able to. So in my best, laziest way, I am going to try to explain what this is mostly about. All right. This is about a dude, and I please forgive me if I get some of the information wrong. I just want to give you some of the basic information, what this is, because it's more or less the argument, not necessarily, and I think a little bit of the person's decision to do what he did. So first of all, just let me make sure I'm not able to get here. I did check out the video when it was sent to me, but it looks like it was made private, and I'm not a member, so what the hell can I tell you? Maybe there's some other video that could explain it to you way better than I can. All right, so rapper Lupe Fiasco. I'm gonna put it back on YM's page just to sort of give the shout out over here. I don't want to. Are you okay with me showing this? I don't want to give away too much of yourself. I know you gave me the thumbs up, but if you're like, take that shit off of there, we'll take it right off of there right away. So all right, see if I could explain this off of memory now. So Lupe Fiasco, he came out a while back, and I'll go ahead and admit I'm not a huge Lupe Fiasco fan like that. I like some of his efforts when he first came out. They seem to have produced. I guess he would sort of have the sort of vibe, and I'll explain. I'm an old school hip hop head. All right, been around, checked it out in the 80s, watched it grow in the 90s, that sort of stuff. And I'll tell you, I'm not one of these people that adapted to the new stuff so well. Oh, hang on for a minute. We have somebody here. Hello.
Hey, last call.
What's up, YM?
What's up? Nice to meet you.
Yes. Thank you for tapping in here. Definitely appreciate that, man.
You're welcome. This is just for a very quick moment because
Sure.
I stepped away from the computer and then I heard you talking about this.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to update you on a couple of things. I don't know if you've been following this story or that YouTuber.
Not really.
Her name's Absa-fucking-lutely. That's the name of her channel.
Yeah.
And when I posted it, it was open to everyone, but I think since Lupe found out about her video, she put it on members only because he went on a 3-hour tirade on Instagram talking about the things that she was saying and why she was wrong and what he intended to do with this project and all this and that. And so a couple of other YouTubers also started reporting on this exact same conflict, this kerfuffle between the two.
I've seen a couple.
So she's kind of blown up a little bit with that. I mean, her channel was already a good size, but I noticed she was getting a little more attention. So I think that's why she put it on members only.
Okay. Do you want to go over a little bit what the whole thing was about and kind of?
No, I'll leave that to you. And I need to actually go attend to something while I'm listening. But one more thing I wanted to mention to you. I heard you saying that you weren't really a fan of Lupe. I used to really love his music, but once I started seeing him as a person communicating in different spaces, it kind of turned me off to him.
Yeah.
But I appreciate his artistry, and he's a very intellectual guy. So
yes.
I can respect that. But I was in someone's chat. Another YouTuber was talking about this. It was either yesterday or the day before. And Lupe Fiasco actually showed up in the chat and started arguing with people. So he's pretty intense.
What's he like when he does stuff like that? Does he come across like, I want to clear this up, or does he come in as an authority? Like, how is that?
He did come in as though he wanted to clear things up, but he took up a lot of chat space. He was just in the chat. He didn't get on the panel or anything.
Oh, okay.
But he was like posting a lot and just like trying to counter everything that the host was saying, and like, making comments to a lot of different people instead of just kind of chilling and listening. I mean, he knows his celebrity status, so I feel like he doesn't really need to do that with people who are not in the music business or who are just listeners of music.
Right.
I don't think he needs to act that way. But he gets kind of verbally aggressive on Twitter as well. Well, I don't even follow Twitter very much anymore, but when it was called Twitter, I noticed that he would, get into flame wars and stuff.
You would be doing stuff like that. So before this news came out, would you consider him sort of relevant, very relevant still in hip hop?
I think he still has some relevance. I don't remember the name of the song, but he did drop a single. He dropped a video maybe 6 months ago. And people in the comments were really excited to see that he released something.
Okay.
So I think that he has relevance.
Okay. And my thing, it's not a dislike towards him, but it was just kind of like where hip hop was going at that time. And
right.
Older school dude, I was like just not really paying attention to where a lot of that stuff went. And where I thought he started out with a lot of quality production and decent lyrics, I thought it kind of went when he did the laser thing or whatever it was. I just kind of didn't like where that was going. And I'll even admit I am tough on the newer guys coming up, and the experimental sounds and stuff going. If it's not rooted in what I used to like in the 90s, that sort of powerhouse kind of stuff, I'm not really for a lot of the things that were coming out. But I still got respect for him as an artist and what I was able to see him do, over time. So yeah, and that's why the article also, the what you had sent me had interested me of where he's going and what this whole thing was about also. So yeah, I
didn't know it, but he's been working on this for a while, at least a year, maybe more. I had no idea.
Yeah, it sounds about normal for something to go through like that, and I don't know. I'll tell you the truth. I've seen a lot of the sites, refer to him as a traitor or betraying culture, this, that, the other. One of my thoughts is like, well, maybe somebody was going to do it, anyway, kind of deal. Even just the last couple segments that I went through with the news and how people are using AI, for what seems like evil things as well. Was it inevitable that something like this was going to happen anyway, and who should be at the helm of something like this? So I don't know. And again, my old school stubborn self is looking at where hip hop went anyway, and how out of control and how far out of our hands it went anyway, that this might just be another grain of sand in it might be catching a lot of news today. Maybe a few months from now it might not be so interesting, so
you make some good points. My first reaction was, hell no, this is a terrible idea. But I'd like to learn more about this project. I want to know how much proprietorship he's going to have in the music, because I think that affects Black artists. If we're saying, any think tank like MIT or any of its subsidiaries can just crank out hip hop whenever they want to, but does that profit Black people in any way? And I'm hoping that, that he'll have ownership of anything that comes out of this, and it won't be just floating out in the ether for somebody else to grab onto and say, okay, I'll make my own chat bot.
Right.
But I guess they're kind of already doing it. So you also make a good point that it's inevitable.
Yeah, in a way too. Like if he doesn't have control, he's not really the one betraying the culture. They're more betraying him for being the credible face of this experiment.
But he's agreeing to do it though.
And that's where I get into who if it wasn't him, he's perfectly positioned to be able to do something like that, working at MIT and some of these other colleges with that.
Yeah.
I wonder,
I heard he just got professorship at Johns Hopkins. I'm like, damn.
right.
The establishment really liked this guy.
We've had KRS-One teach in universities too, and we've had a couple other rappers, teaching classes at some universities also. I wonder if somebody reached out to them with any of these too, and if it had the backing of somebody like a KRS-One, would he be looked at as a traitor, or would he be looked at evolutionizing the industry in a way?
That's a good question. But again, it depends on how it's being used and who profits from it and where does it go. I don't really know all the nitty-gritty details. All I know is he wants to make a radio station that only plays one endless AI song that's based on what he, is based on his lyrics, his style, his flow, so on and so forth.
That doesn't sound so crazy to me, though. I don't think I'm the audience for that, but remember, I don't know, I want to say within maybe 5 years or so, they tried to market this AI rapper.
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy.
Remember that? And
I remember that. It was so weird.
So is this the rebirth of that sort of concept? But I mean, they constructed a whole image and everything that they catered to all the negativity and all the more the negative aspects. So it really showed from an outsider. Did they maybe take that idea and repackage it? Maybe do some studies on that blueprint, and then this is,
I wonder
reboot to that, So I don't know. This is for what he's doing. It's interesting for the people that maybe the weed smokers or something that sit back and go, what would be a good idea if you just had a station of me, runs track. Maybe it wouldn't sound so weird in that context, but because it's coming across as so corporate and ridiculous, that I think it's causing this bad taste in everybody that are just like, no, we can't do this. But in kind of like what you were saying not too long ago, how much of this do we really have control of anyway? I really don't think. Yeah, a few of some people got some gold chains, whatever. Some people might have record labels, but the real money seems to be what people like 50 Cent and them are doing, like diversifying what they do. And I don't know. I'm having more trouble seeing this as a negative versus how people are kind of speaking down on Lupe for the culture.
I think you reacted to how the YouTuber entitled her video "The Judas of Hip Hop" or something like that.
Yeah. Now that I remember some of the language and stuff that she used in there, definitely. And she made it was a great presentation. Even after that, it just gave you a bunch of things basically to consider. And I was like, that kind of all makes sense. But thinking also, to me, he doesn't really feel like a mogul, an icon like that. He just kind of seems like some guy in the game trying things out, trying to be innovative, trying to be, on the cusp of what's happening. He definitely, and we definitely, I don't really think that we think like this as a group of people these days, of how our actions, affect our community like that. And perhaps spotlight, he should, think about the legacies and some of those things that were discussed prior. But I don't know, how much responsibility does he actually bear on?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop down now, but it was so great meeting you, and I'm gonna keep listening in the clouds as I do things.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I don't think I'm going to be on much longer, to tell you the truth. That was an awesome little boost that you provided there, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. All right, that was YM. Please check out her page. It's right there on my page as you look at it. And so just to reiterate a couple of the things that we were talking about on here. I don't see my little thing moving here. I don't know if I hope my sound is going. One. So see if I could go backwards and sum any of that up. So Lupe Fiasco, obvious rapper and respected, even though I don't listen or follow his career to where he was now. Obviously, he's matured. He's doing great things. I always knew he was this kind of intellectual rapper, and he didn't kind of hang with these low-hanging fruit type things. And, he's on some other stuff. So he apparently was in this position and has been working for a while. YM said about a year or so, but that's not a ridiculous amount of time to be working on anything, working on departments and people coming together to produce what he has now produced. So, if you know the backgrounds, and again, thank you for the update, YM. We do appreciate that, because I didn't really follow it like that. There is one more thing I want to do before I leave, though. And it'll end this off on a lighter note than we have been. I never really plan on going this heavy, but with all the crap that could go on during the course of a week, it's like, holy cow, man. So hold on, turn this back up for a second. So in layman's terms, Fiasco did exactly put this program or is initiating this program exactly what YM was saying. A station generated by AI, creating songs, tracks, whatever you want to call it, records, in the likeness of Lupe Fiasco, generating lyrics and songs only to be played a total of one time for 24 hours around on this station. And the criticisms were that he was kind of selling out the culture to AI, this, that, the other. Please, I encourage you to go check other sites for more in-depth analysis. The one that YM was talking about, name was, I think, Abso-fucking-lutely, not quite spelt like that, but you get kind of a actually, and if it's on here, I do, they do deserve to be shouted out like that. So their site is ABSA. I'm just going to show it up here. No, that didn't work. Wait. Oh, I made the same stupid mistake. And for the last time. Okay, I did have it. I just didn't press the button. Now, of course, when you go into somebody's page, you check out some of the videos and stuff on there. So the page is ABSA FCKNLUTELY. Phonetically ends up being Abso-fucking-lutely. Good reporting here. I could say, it's her opinion, as objective as you want it to be, or even going in and present. But I didn't find it being insulting to any intelligence, or, I would say at the very least it was being critical towards the subject of what she thought. And it says the title again, Lupe Fiasco's Judas Strategy, Endless Loop, and MIT Artificial Intelligence Rap Music. Now, yeah, that does sound like a little bit of a tough title, but she does. It's YouTube, and she goes to present an argument for something, and I think it was presented very well and stuff. So, unfortunately, it says now members open. It was available, as you heard, but then had some of the follow-up. Lupe didn't like that, and I guess there was a little retaliation there. So, and if it's other people's content, you don't get to have it so freely, even though you're reporting. Isn't that what the amendment is supposed to be about? So please go check that out and check out YM's page too. All right. I guess one thing I wanted to do for fun before I left. So there's this page that I like. I like music and all of that. You could tell I'm trying to do something in the background because I lose my train of thought. All right. Who's this guy you see on your screen? No, that is not a young picture of me. That picture is the one, the only Prince. What's his last name? Neil Rogers, whatever the hell his name. Prince. Bottom line is Prince. It's one of these sites, and this guy put this up real quick. Now, again, I don't know how much crap they're going to put out of my, they're going to clip my page today. So I think this guy did it in a way, and I'm using somebody else's website down here, OB Smalls. And he just does a whole bunch of music stuff. A lot of his things, it concentrates around the use of samples and stuff like that. So if you go into some of the shorts that he makes, he goes into some of the drum patterns or where things were taken from. And he kind of did something that I like, or that I used to do back in the days. Now, if you're a person that digs in the crates, right? And digging in there's different types of digging in the crates. I refer to people like Pete Rock and stuff who get these sounds to create music. So first of all, if you're a crate digger, you know how to go beyond what the mainstream is and sounds and how they connect. And you're really listening to certain parts of music and the genres and stuff, which is really cool. And then the other part of that, it's using those sounds, those grooves and beat breaks and stuff to create your own music. Or repurpose some other music as well. And I believe it is an art. There's a lot of people that say sampling is not an art. But of course, there's a difference of sampling between, like some of the shit Puffy used to do. Take the same damn song, loop it, and then there you go. Some songs just deserve the loop. Like Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day, taken by the Isley Brothers. They touched that beat up a little bit, but you couldn't imagine it any other way than using it that way and rapping over it. Some shit just fits the way that it fits so good, and then there's some where, the way they used to make beats, that art still kind of exists. Like the Bomb Squad for Public Enemy and stuff, the way they used to construct beats and just do the most digging for the smallest of sounds, Nowadays, producers have it a whole lot easier with things and sounds being digital and being able to convert things and switch and, converting everything from damn near a laptop. So truly, truly, truly an art. Saying that, I stumble upon this, and I got what this guy was saying. If you could see what he says down here, it's like, bruh, I love this sample. So his idea, it's only about 52 seconds. His idea, he plays what he liked about it and then kind of does a light conversion of his vision for, the track. And what's funny, I don't know if it's down here. Oh, there I am saying it's a dope find. He responds to me. I'll get to that in a minute. But people are so weird when they don't understand what you're doing. Most people are like, "Oh, good sample, good sample." And again, I'm going to let you hear it in a minute. One guy. Anyway, I can't really find him in here, but he criticized like, "This is so stupid." Blah 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 blah. There it is, right here, the very last guy. "This is really whack. You only looped and slowed down an obvious section of a high-selling piece of art. Try harder next time." Now, if you don't get it, you don't get it. Don't comment on something you don't understand. I got this right away. Listen to what it was and then what he wanted it to be. So I want to play this. Hopefully, I won't get a strike or anything because I think the guy used it just enough. And again, it's a part of Prince, one of his tracks. He tells us what the track is. try to find it afterwards. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, here it is. See if you like it too. He plays the original part, and then he slows it down to something like, yeah, I got this fine. What would you do with it? So here we go. Here he goes. What a difference he makes. What a difference. So, and this is how a lot of songs and hip hop and stuff were done. Imagine you're hearing this groove, right? Just like that. And then you're like, hey, slow that down. See what you just changes the whole dynamic. Like that. Yeah, I like that, man. So of course you hear something like this. Now I don't have the it's funny, this just caught my eye. I definitely want to see what this guy's talking about. Maybe I could put this to save later. People Under the Stairs. When I was in LA, I even went to the house. It's as much of a fan I was of that. See what he's saying. So, me being a little beat stand, there I am. That's a dope find because it was. Then you respond, yeah, classic song. All right. I responded to another one here. Let me see. I replied. Give me a second. I'm down here somewhere. Wait, maybe it's in here. Okay. So somebody's like, that's a great sample. It was the first one. Do you mind? I feel inspired to create. So he's like, some guy found this. He's like, yeah, that is dope. Whatever. Guy replies, bruh, please do. I'd love to hear a song based on this. So I'm like, hell yeah, I want to hear that shit too. And follow up to that, guy says, somebody's already making a dope beat to the sample. And I'm like, where's the link at? Let me hear it. Oh, shit. I thought it was in this. Hang on. Now I got to go find the damn link. Son of a gun. Let's see if he put it anywhere. Subscribe. Sorry, people. This is the last thing we're doing. So if you're not a fan of this type of stuff, you could click on. I will see you next week. Appreciate it. Otherwise, I want to try to find where the heck this is. So let's see here. I think he removed this. It says, check my pinned comment to be able to find it. Wow, this is a day of just people. Disappointments. So if this was pinned, it should be here. Am I right? Or am I crazy? I'm just going to do a little refreshify.
You can't prevent bad timing.
All right. He says go to his pin.
But you can help prevent certain HPV-related cancers with Gardasil 9.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay.
Visit getg9.ca and get vaccinated today.
They're pushing those vaccinations. All right, here we go. So,
Hello, it is Tim.
Couple things I want to say. A shout out to this dude, 10 till death. All right. He'll introduce himself in just a minute. Now, couple things, because I want you to have the patience for this. this is somebody else's vision for that sample, and that's kind of all I'm rating it on is with somebody else. I kind of went into it the first time like, this is what I was going to use it for, not how I was going to use it. But, you know, I got to be open to somebody else's art interpretation and how they were using it. And after listening a few times and with the understanding, like, this is how this person, you know, saw it fit to use this beat. I'll tell you what I think afterwards. All right, let's listen to him, and I'll get back to you guys right after this.
Potential death, also known as Rogelio. Hello, it is Potential Death, also known as Rogelio Capone. There's this YouTube video that I'm showing on screen where they wanted someone to take this Prince song, sample it, and flip it. We decided to flip it. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of a teaser of what I did with it. We're going to release the official song in a few months from now, but for now, check this out.
Drop shots with the spice, all drugs in my ice box. Keep it on lock, cause I popped on that bed watch.
Yeah, mi nombre Roquito, Loquito, hell yeah. I'm that chiquito, bonito, catabatica like the Matequito. These tiros call me Mascano, Durano, cause platinum going platinum is the mono. Triple siete like the lotto. Urbano to Romano, my fiesta, surprise, Shinka, Chico, to siesta. Taking that Chico who has Podesta on. We staying true to our hues, paying dues on. This one for me, rather everybody going, ooh. Ain't no party like a low party, cause a low party never stops.
Drop shots with the spice, all drugs in my ice box. Keep it on lock, cause I popped on that bed watch.
Ain't no party like a low party, cause a low party never stops.
Drop shots with the spice, all drugs in my ice box. Keep it on lock, cause I popped on that bed watch. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Watch out for them fucking cops. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Everybody fucking yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat, and this is you know, might be an old guy talk. I'm really not that old, but you know, old school dude talking. It's kind of neat what technology did. This guy puts out a video, you know, in his craft, saying that he likes this kind of stuff and good sample. Somebody else picks it up, and then somebody else works on it. That's how friggin' true art works, man. I just I thought that was a neat little thing.
Meanwhile, back at the show.
Yeah, so I kind of like what we did today. Let me just give a couple people a shout out here before I get going. If you are Replay Gang, definitely appreciate you being here. If you're somewhere in the clouds, appreciate you checking me out. Let's see. We're going out to all right. So first one of the year. Got it done. So I definitely want to thank people for coming out and checking me. This is let me turn that down a little bit. Again, want to thank people for coming out and fucking with me. This is last call. This is the first podcast 2025. If it is your first time checking me out, please return. Feel free to press the subscribe button and check out the rest of my material. If you're returning, by all means, man, continue to do that. I would like to give a special thank you and shout out to my special guest that I was so fortunate to have. YM was in the house today and gave us some good insight, and I like that. I mean, if you could add to anything that I'm saying, or want to have that discussion, or even clear up any of my misconceptions of the information that was out, because obviously things change. It was an article that I found interesting but didn't follow it very down to the last minute as well. But again, we had YM from the Critical Chronicles of YM, Miss Yolanda Martinez. Go check out her channel and subscribe. And of course, you are invited anytime to the channel. And thank you for checking me out. So this is what we had today. And if you can, I am making my plea again for my little channel to grow. Like, share, subscribe as I step out of here. All right, folks, enjoy. Have a good rest of the week. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Good start to 2025, and we'll get it done. Peace, peace, peace.